So, you're probably using tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini pretty much every single day, right? They're drafting your emails, summarizing reports, even brainstorming ideas. But here's the thing. What if I told you that treating them like some kind of magic box is actually holding you back? Today, we're going to pull back that curtain, look at the actual mechanics, and transform you from a casual user into a business owner who can wield these tools with some serious precision and power.
Here's what we've got on tap. We'll kick things off with that frustrating magic box problem. Then we'll reveal the one secret that makes it all make sense. From there, we'll get into how it learns, how to deal with its biggest flaw, and wrap up with a playbook that's going to give you a real competitive edge. Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1, the magic box problem. You know this feeling. It's that moment of pure frustration when this incredible tool you rely on just isn't so incredible anymore. I'm pretty sure we've all been there.
Does this sound familiar? You ask for a very specific piece of information, and what you get back is this beautifully written, totally confident, and completely made-up answer. Or maybe you give it a complex instruction, and it just misses the entire point. Look, this isn't just you, okay? It's a universal experience. And understanding why this happens is the absolute first step to making it stop.
So how do we fix this? Well, it all comes down to understanding one single core concept. And that brings us to Section 2, Next Word Prediction. Forget all the complicated jargon for a second. If you can just get your head around this one idea, everything else about how these models work, and more importantly, why they fail, is going to click right into place.
So what is it? At its absolute heart, a large language model is really just a ridiculously sophisticated autocomplete. I'm serious. It's not searching a database for an answer. It's a pattern-matching machine that's read trillions of words, and based on all that, it makes a statistical bet on what the very next word should be.
Just think about how it answers a simple question. Something like, what is the capital of France? The model doesn't actually know the answer. Instead, it predicts that the most likely word to start with is the. Then, given the next most likely word is capital, then of, then France, then is, until it finally lands on the most statistically probable conclusion, Paris. It's just a chain of probabilities, built one single word at a time.
And this is the point I really want you to take away. It's all about prediction, not retrieval. The AI isn't going into a digital encyclopedia and pulling out a fact. It's just generating the sequence of words that has the highest probability of being correct. That distinction, well, that's the key to everything. So how in the world does a machine get so good at predicting human language? That leads us straight into Section 3, how these things actually learn. It's this really cool two-step process that takes it from being just a raw text predictor to the helpful assistant you chat with every day.
So it all starts with phase 1, pre-training. You can imagine the model just inhaling a huge chunk of the internet, books, articles, websites, you name it. It's not memorizing things, but it's learning the statistical patterns of how we talk and write. Then comes phase 2, fine-tuning. This is where real humans step in. They rate the AI's answers, basically teaching it and sculpting it into something that's helpful, safe, and actually follows instructions. This is what gives the AI its personality.
You know, a really great way to think about that pre-training phase is to imagine a new employee who, before they even show up for their first day, has already read every single email, every report, every memo your company has ever created. They wouldn't have memorized it all, of course, but they'd have this incredible gut feeling for how your business operates and communicates. That's exactly what pre-training does for an LLM.
And now we've arrived at what is probably the single biggest risk for any business using AI. Section 4, Taming AI hallucinations. This is what we call it when the AI just confidently makes stuff up. And this is where understanding those mechanics we talked about really pays off.
So a hallucination is a direct result of that next word prediction system. When the model gets a question where it doesn't have a strong statistical pattern to follow, well, it still has to predict something. The result can sound perfectly logical, totally plausible, but be completely wrong. And the most important thing for you as a business owner to get is this. It's a core feature of how this tech works. It's not a bug that's just going to be fixed one day.
So when should your alarm bells be ringing? Well, there are a few key danger zones. When you're asking for super specific numbers, or dates, or quotes, or talking about very recent events, or exploring really niche topics where there just isn't much data out there, the risk of a plausible sounding error just skyrockets. You have to be extra careful in these situations.
So how do you protect your business? You use this simple framework. First, always verify critical facts yourself. Second, remember what this tool is. It's a text generator, not a search engine or a database. Third, challenge it.
Ask it to give you real, verifiable sources. And here's a fantastic pro tip. Ask it to argue the opposite side of an issue. If it can make a convincing case for the other side, that tells you the topic is nuanced and you need to take a closer look. All right, you now understand the core mechanics and the biggest risk. That brings us to our final section, the Power User's Playbook. This is where we take all that knowledge and turn it into a true competitive advantage by learning how to actually control the machine.
Okay, to really control the AI's output, we need to speak its language. And it doesn't see words like we do, it sees tokens. A token is just a chunk of text, usually about 3/4 of a word. Now, why does this super technical detail matter to you? Because it affects literally everything, from the model's memory all the way to how much you pay for it.
So let's break down why tokens matter for your business. 3 big reasons. First, the context window. Think of this as the AI's short-term memory. If your conversation or a document you give it gets too long and goes over the token limit, it starts forgetting the beginning of the conversation. This is critical to know. Second, pricing. If you're using an API, you are paying per token. Understanding this helps you manage your budget. And finally, performance. Generally, the more relevant context, more tokens you can give the model, the better your results will be.
Now, for one of my favorite controls you have access to, temperature. Just think of it like a creativity dial for the AI. Let's say you're creating a financial report where you need maximum accuracy, no mistakes. You'd set a really low temperature, close to 0. For something like a customer service email, you want a natural tone, so a medium temperature is perfect. But what if you're brainstorming new marketing slogans? Well, then you can crank that temperature way up and get some really creative, sometimes even wild ideas. It's all about matching the setting to the business task.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway? It's actually really simple. Getting better results isn't about some secret prompt hack. It's about understanding that you are feeding a prediction engine. The more high-quality, relevant raw material you give it in your prompt, the better and more useful its prediction is going to be. Your context is everything.
When we started, you were looking at a magic box. But now you see the gears. You see the probabilities. You see the controls. You're not just a user anymore. You're an operator. So the only real question left is, with this new understanding, what are you going to build?